So the three paths we're looking at for big data at Ford happen to be internal data, data within the enterprise, external data primarily from social media sources, and then the area that we're really mostly interested in is data from the vehicle itself. So the gold standard as data from the vehicle is really all of the interactions that the customer can have with the vehicle, as well as the internal data that's generated by all of the sensors and all of the processors that are contained within the vehicle. So right now, the data that we get from the vehicle can span anywhere from a rather minimal amount of data, which you would get maybe just from monitoring a few of the engine data points, to a huge amount of data. Let's say if it was installed with a high-definition camera and a LiDAR system, maybe for looking at driverless or automated driving. But the data that can come through really is going to be dependent upon the value for which we believe we can get out of the data when we analyze it. So if we're interested mostly in looking at things having to do with quality or warranty, then monitoring the powertrain, the engine temperature, or the cooling temperature, those are all things that would be very important. But we could also look at things like what features the customers are actually using, when are they using them, and trying to get a better understanding about how people actually use the vehicles. So we use social media a lot to confirm different questions that we have when we're building features into the vehicle. So one of the examples is the 3-blink turn signal. And there was some information from our customer surveys that people who had 3-blink turn signals on competitive vehicles were not too fond of that feature. And that was because that, from the surveys themselves, the people rated their satisfaction with the turn signal relatively low. But actually it turned out to be that people were unhappy with an additional stock that comes out of the steering column. And while they liked the 3-blink turn signal, what they didn't like is they didn't like that their hand was hitting this additional stock. So when we looked at the social media reviews and people were actually talking about their vehicle, we could see the difference between those things. They were specifically talking about them. So we had a high degree of confidence when we went back to our internal customer development product development that 3-blink was going to be successful.